Good morning, ladies. This is your Read Aloud assignment video. Please remember that you need to watch this whole video first and then click the link below to watch the actual read aloud. Today you are reading a book that's titled A Tadpole Grows Up, and it's written by Pam Zolman. While you're listening to the read aloud, make sure you're thinking about whether the book is fiction or nonfiction, and think about the features that tell you why it's fiction or nonfiction. Today we have a very special treat. We have an exciting video message from one of our favorite teachers, Miss Severino. So girls, please get ready to watch.
Good morning, Brighter Choice first grade scholars. This is Mrs. Severino from second grade. Boy, do I have a surprise for you today. Miss Camchero told me that you read a book about tadpoles. And guess what I happen to have at my house right now? If you guessed tadpoles, you're correct. Last week, I found some tadpoles in my backyard. I found them in a puddle and decided I would take some of them inside so that I could watch them hatch and see how they grow. Now, it's usually not a good idea to take wild animals from their home and bring them to your house. But if I left them in this puddle, the puddle would dry up and they would die. And also, I actually have done this a few times before with frog eggs to watch them hatch. Let me show you what they looked like after I brought them inside. This is what the eggs look like after I brought them inside. Here's a view from the side of the container that I have them in. You can see they're all together in a big glob, and in the center of each egg is a small black circle. That's the embryo, or the part that's going to grow into a tadpole. Here you can see them from the top. And again, you can see the embryo, which is going to grow into the tadpole, inside of the egg. If you've ever seen an egg from a chicken before, when you crack it open, there's the circle part inside that's yellow. That's the yolk, or the part that would grow into a chicken if the eggs were fertilized. After the eggs were inside for a few days, the embryos started to change shape. You can see some of these embryos are growing into an oval instead of staying as a circle. And this is important because the tadpoles need to grow tails before they hatch. This happened just a few days after I brought them inside. Watch carefully, you can see them wiggle. Just like a baby chick has to move and stretch and crack its way out of its egg, baby tadpoles need to learn to wiggle so that they can get out of their egg too. Can you see them wiggling? And in just a few more days, some of them have hatched. Watch them swim. You can see their heads and then their tails wiggling behind them. Now, if you look carefully at the cluster of eggs, there are still some eggs that won't hatch. That's why frogs have to lay so many eggs at a time. So there's a good chance that some of the eggs will grow into tadpoles, which need to grow into frogs. Now here's another view inside the tank. You'll be able to see how they swim underwater, and we'll even be able to look at some of their body parts closer. Some tadpoles like to rest on the side of the container, just like they would rest on the edge of the pond if they were in a pond. Here, if you look closely at this tadpole, you can see its gills sticking out from the side of its head. This is what allows a tadpole to breathe underwater, because they won't be moving out of water until they've grown their legs and lost their tail. Then the tadpole will have turned into a froglet. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more and actually seeing how tadpoles grow up. Happy reading!
Thank you so much, Miss Severino. I've never seen tadpoles up close quite like that. That was really, really exciting, and I learned so much. I know that you girls will be able to use that in your writing. So, before you begin, Let's go over those important writing points. Always start those sentences with capital letters and end them with punctuation. Don't forget finger spacing and to do your neatest handwriting. And then, of course, include that book title in your sentence starter. So, A Tadpole Grows Up is a fiction or is a nonfiction book. And then all the reasons you know. I know this because, and you're going to list at least 3 different reasons that you know that this book is fiction or nonfiction. And then last but not least, do an illustration that matches. When you finish, girls, make sure that your name and date is on top and that your grown-up can either take a picture and send it to your teacher on Class Dojo, or you can save it in that file and then bring it to school once we are all back together. Enjoy, ladies, and we'll see you soon.